What's up, y'all? It's your boy Days 247 back again with another video. So we got MLB ballparks. So we have now done all the ballparks that's under the MLB. Pretty much the developmental part, pretty much, yeah. So we did low A baseball parks, then we did double A ballparks, then we did high A ballparks, but came to find out, and then we did triple A ballpark. So now basically what I'm trying to say is, so we did each tier of the developmental of the Major League Baseball. So we did low A to high A to double A to triple A, and now we got to the official MLB ballparks. So we better get into this video. Shout out to the video producer, Worldwide Stadiums, for the video. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. Go to their channel because they do great content as well. And yeah, pretty much. So please also like and subscribe this channel, and also please go and follow my gaming channel, Progress Gaming, as well. So we better get into this video. I hope everybody enjoy it. I know I will. And let's just see and let's critique these stadiums, you know what I'm saying, as they are today. And so we got to get into it, and let's get into it.
Major League Baseball stadiums might not have the size of NFL stadiums or the intimate atmosphere of NBA/NHL arenas, but out of all of North America's leagues, it has the most interesting venues, in my opinion. Pretty much every ballpark has a ton of different quirks, different seating options, and the way they pay tribute to the city or team's history is unparalleled. So with that being said, here are the Major League Baseball stadiums. American Family Field, Milwaukee Brewers.
Excuse me, y'all know I'm eating, but I'm gonna be real with y'all. I know this field, even though it's called American Family Field, but I remember this field was known as Miller Park. And the Milwaukee Brewers, I'm gonna go ahead and get this, you know what I'm saying. This stadium is kind of unique to me because of the way it was built. And you know what I'm saying? Even though it's an indoor park and stuff, but you know, it was neat. It was neat, and it was neat for Milwaukee. I say that it's neat for them. You know, they do got cold weather up there, but you know, that's the reason why they got this type of stadium. But you know what I'm saying, but I'll give this stadium at least a B for, you know what I'm saying, weather capacity. But you know what I'm saying, there's no feel to it, really. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand, but this stadium does have a lot of history. And yeah, so I'm gonna give it at least a B, 80% B.
We start off with one of the more distinctive ballparks in all of baseball, in particular the unconventional fan-shaped roof, which I believe is the only one of its kind in the world. It's a pretty cool design. It looks like two giant arches.
And yes, it is just one of, excuse me, y'all, but this it is one of a kind roof. That is true. It is a one of a kind roof. That's what makes it so hysterical.
Bridges from the outside. From the inside, it has a bit of an industrial look, with exposed steel everywhere. There is plenty of natural light that flows into the stadium though, and that is important because unlike some stadiums with a retractable roof, this one has real grass.
You see, when I say it used to be known as Miller Park, y'all, from right there. Now, if you look over here, what makes this stadium stand out is that every time you hit a home run, the mascot always slides. You know what I'm saying? From right here, he always slide down this slide. That you know, that would make this, you know, this ballpark look, you know what I'm saying, crazy. And if y'all know the history of this ballpark was on a movie called Mr. 3000. You know, starring the late great Bernie Mac. You know what I'm saying? So this park really has a history, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Shout out to Milwaukee Brewers.
But they do actually have to bring in those artificial sunshine lamps to maintain it. If you're like me and were curious about that big yellow slide over there, well, the mascot, Bernie Brewer, slides down it after the Brewers hit a home run.
Yep.
So you know it's been a good game for the Brewers if the mascot has a mild electric current running through him. Angels Stadium, Los Angeles Angels.
Now Angel Stadium, Anaheim, California, home of the Anaheim Angels. I'm not gonna call them Los Angeles Angels. I'm calling them Anaheim Angels. Some people just call them the Angels and stuff. But this stadium used pretty much this team did belong to Walt Disney and stuff, but this stadium needs real bad renovation and stuff. And I think the Angels should deserve a new stadium. Um, to be honest with you, they do. They tried their best because, to be honest with y'all, this stadium was part of a football field. You know what I'm saying? It hosted two major sports, NFL and MLB. And once NFL left, they tried to convert it back to MLB. So pretty much it was MLB, then NFL came into the mix, and then they turned it into a NFL/MLB, and then NFL left, and now they want to convert it back to MLB. And it kind of messed up the stadium a lot. So, but they tried their best with it, the best way they possible can. I know this don't look like no baseball field, you know what I'm saying? Look like Monster Jam and stuff, pretty much. I mean, the stadium is complete messed up right now. So, um, but to be honest with you, I give them a C for their stadium. For the Angels until they get a new stadium, which I hope they will. And I mean, even though it's right next to Disney World, I mean not Disney World, Disneyland, but you know what I'm saying, I mean what you expect. So that's all I got to say. So I think this stadium deserves overall grade of C.
It's one of the few stadiums to initially be built as a purpose-built baseball venue, then converted into a multi-purpose stadium later on, and then converted back into a ballpark successfully.
Just what you said. Exactly what he said. You see this? That was Angel Stadium. That was Angel Stadium and stuff. They had to convert it back to a baseball park at the NFL level. So to each his own. So
Back into a ballpark successfully. The most famous feature here would have to be the big A sign, which is as old as the stadium.
now the big A sign is still up to this day. That's the only historical thing about this park is that big A sign.
Itself, but it's no longer in the stadium itself. So the most famous feature within the stadium itself sits where there was a grandstand during the football days, and that is the rather spectacular man-made waterfall, or cascades, I guess. Yeah, other ballparks have water features, but none quite like this. You might wonder why they went for such an extravagant display. But then you remember that the team was owned by Disney in the late 90s when this was added.
See what he just said. It was owned by Walt Disney. Let's continue.
And then it makes perfect sense. They probably got the same people that worked on Disneyland rides such as... I'm not much of a Disney person, to be honest. I have more refined taste in entertainment. SpongeBob mainly. Busch Stadium, St. Louis Cardinals.
Now, I ain't trying to be biased. Even though this is my favorite team. But too bad I'm going to be biased on this one. Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis Cardinals. This ballpark get 100% A. I like this ballpark. I've been to this ballpark many a times. Many a times. I remember sitting right here to watch a game. I remember sitting right there to see Pujols. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, this ballpark is beautiful. I don't care what nobody say. They did a great job with this ballpark. Hands down. You know what I'm saying? Take it or leave it. I mean, it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But Busch Stadium, they did their thing. And also the batter's eye is beautiful as well. You can see the arch and stuff. So they did a real good job with this stadium.
Roughly on the same side as the previous Busch Stadium, which was pretty much
overall grade. And look right here, y'all. That walk around concourse. Oh my God, they did an amazing job with this stadium. And then and like I say, y'all, I'm gonna give this ballpark overall grade 100% A. Take it or leave it.
much the perfect example of a concrete donut. Of course.
So from that state, this is where they came from the stadium back then to the stadium they got now. So you know what I'm saying? Like I said, well done.
They don't make concrete donuts anymore because too many cops were breaking their jaws. Actually, no, I hate that stereotype. Everybody likes donuts. Of course, cops do as well. Anyway, it features some more bridge action, except this one intentionally looks like a local bridge. But that doesn't come close to being the most extraordinary structure you get to view while visiting the stadium. The seating bowl opens up to a rather...
You see what I'm saying? That batter's eye is beautiful. Batter's eye is real beautiful.
Splendid view of the St. Louis skyline, including this monochromatic rainbow thing known as the Gateway Arch. That's another aspect that I love about baseball. Due to the nature of the playing field, it allows for outfield seating to be kept minimal, which allows for some stunning backdrops. Chase Field, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Now, Chase Field, Arizona Diamondbacks. I seen this stadium. It's all right. It's a closed stadium. I can't really talk much about it. I know they're trying to do some renovations to it to make it better. I know they want to move out this stadium in Arizona. Excuse me. But all I can say for this stadium, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 75%. Excuse me. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Soda. But I'm gonna go ahead and give this stadium a 75% C. I mean, the interior is not that bad. They're just trying to cut out the seats a lot. That's a lot of MLB stadiums are doing right now. They trying to cut off the high rise seats. You know what I'm saying? That's because people are not buying tickets there no more. So they're really trying to cut that out and stuff. So so people can get a good view of the game. So yeah. So with this stadium, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 75% C.
This boxy looking ballpark has one of the earlier examples of a retractable roof, and that's why, as you'll see later on, it's not as sleek as some of its more modern counterparts, particularly from the outside. But I'm sure the Diamondbacks fans could not care less, because it's protecting them from what is some of the harshest sunshine of any MLB city. Also,
You see what I'm saying right here? Like they trying to cut off these high rise seats and stuff to make the game more, better, eye wise. So yeah, they trying to cut a lot of this out and stuff. It can still have like a triple decker, but it's not like too much seat. They try to cut most of all these top layer seats out and stuff. And then okay, if I wish I had a draw line, but if you cut all this out right here, cut this in half, it'll be a better looking stadium. To be honest with you, it would. So yes, it will be a better looking stadium. So
the inside is what matters most, and it's looking pretty good. It has a fairly similar layout to Milwaukee, but with 3 tiers instead of 4. A few other differences are the fact that they recently replaced what was a natural grass field with synthetic turf. Also, all of those big windows over there can actually open and close. And there is a nice little swimming pool to cool off at.
now I do like this. They did add a swimming pool. You know what I'm saying? Because they in Arizona, it'd be hot in Arizona, dry heat. I get that. Now, the thing is, Arizona's water. Yeah, I need to fix y'all water. I can understand. That's that dirty water. It ain't no taste to it because I'm from Arkansas. We natural state. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much, this is a nice thing for y'all, and it's nice to be put in the stadium as well.
I don't think it's quite big enough for everyone
I will enjoy myself with this.
at the stadium, but it's better than nothing.
When there's nothing holding you back, what would your thing be?
Auto insurance all seems the same until it's time to use it. With USAA, it's easy to find.
Citi Field, New York Mets.
New York City, New York, Citi Field. This stadium is going to get a 95% A. The reason why I'm giving it a 95% A because it's modern. It is really modern. They did a really good job with this stadium. But the facade, the facade turned me on because it reminds me Ebbets Field. It reminds me of Ebbets Field from the Brooklyn Dodgers Jackie Robinson time. They did a real nice job, and then they did some honorable, historical tribute to Jackie Robinson. With the facade, it just looks amazing. I do like this, stadium a lot, and it's in Brooklyn or Queens area. It's in Brooklyn and Queens area, so they did a real good job with this stadium, and I do like it a lot. New York Mets, y'all did y'all thing with this stadium.
It was built alongside the Mets' former home, Shea Stadium. An iconic venue, but one they would have.
And Shea Stadium was not that bad at all, but like I said, they did have to cut this out. They did have to cut all this out. Now, I don't know if you're gonna go back to the Citi Field, but this is what I mean. They had to cut all this out. I'll be scared if I had to sit up here. I would be scared if I had to sit up there.
Have been pleased to move out of, especially when this.
This stadium still got that, high rise seats, but they trying to cut them out. They are really trying to cut them out and stuff. So basically, like they pretty much want to keep like this level, pretty much, and make it all bar. Walk around and stuff. But they really trying to cut all these high rise seats out because you just need a. Ooh, sorry, I can't really talk, but I'm getting my voice back. But they really trying to keep 3-decker level of seatings and stuff, and that's okay. But they're really trying to cut all these death-defying high-rise seats out.
This is the alternative. The facade resembles Ebbets Field, a former stadium in the city that was demolished.
You see what I'm talking about? And I love that facade.
Before the Mets even existed, so that's an interesting choice. I suppose it's better than replicating the exterior of Shea Stadium, which made commie blocks look avant-garde. There is at least one tribute to their previous home, and that is this big apple known as the Home Run Apple. This one's actually from Shea Stadium. But on the inside, there's a new one specifically built for Citi Field that rises after a Mets home run. I believe these were commissioned in an effort to prove that the Mets were...
If you don't know what this bridge is, this is the bridge between Brooklyn and Queens. So, fun fact.
a New Yorkier than the Yankees. Oh my word, more bridgeage.
And let me show you what I mean by the seat. You see that? That's more safer. That is more safer than, you know what I'm saying, even though they can't cut it out and stuff, but I still say that's more safer. Just my opinion.
A New Yorkier than the Yankees. Oh my word, more bridgeage. This one's a replica of Hell's Gate Bridge, which connects Queens and Manhattan, if I'm not mistaken. What's with baseball and bridges? Citizens Bank Park, Philadelphia Phillies.
All right, Citizen Bank Park, Philadelphia. The Phillies. This stadium is all right. I'm going to give this stadium overall 89, 89B. I do like the walk around concourse. I do like that. Let's see, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of seating. But to be honest, like I said, they really trying to cut all these top layer seats out. So they trying. They is really trying. MLB is really changing a lot, y'all. So be prepared for it. So but yeah, this stadium is kind of neat and stuff. And my overall grade for this stadium is a 89% B.
Straight away, you'll notice the roofs done up in that distinctive shade of green known as copper patina, aka Statue of Liberty. Made of copper, turns green over time, hence patina. Anyway, it's rather nice. Not that you get to see much of it when actually attending the stadium. What you will notice is that the seating is very angular. Usually behind home plate there's more of a curved seating bowl. You'll also notice that the field is sunken into the ground, 23 feet to be precise, ending the stadium. What you will notice is that the seating is very angular. Usually behind home plate there's more of a curved seating.
See, I would have cut these rows out. I would have just demolished all this. You know, I just kept all that. That would be my roof right there. All of this. All of this would be my roof. And this will be my stadium, pretty much. That's what I would do. Just be real with y'all.
Bowl. You'll also notice that the field is sunken into the ground, 23 feet to be precise. And there's a giant replica of the Liberty Bell, complete with a crack. Yet the sound is perfectly normal. Something's not right. I'm thinking this bell is about as genuine as Taco Bell. At least it won't give you diarrhea. Actually, you know what? I don't want to get sued by them. What are real are the trees that make up the batter's eye. That certainly beats a blank wall, at least aesthetically speaking. America Park, Detroit Tigers. Once more.
Now, Comerica Park, Detroit, Michigan. I've been to this stadium before. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I thought this was bullshit. I can't cuss on here, but to be real with y'all, I think this stadium was not really like. I believe this stadium was. I thought this stadium was AA tier, or AAA tier. To be honest with you, because it's like a 2-layer approach, but that's okay because now MLB is going a low count of seating now, so this will fit the budget pretty much now. So they did a pretty good job back then. 2000, back then in 2000. This stadium was like, nah, we can't rock with you with this stadium. We're gonna have to drop you down. But nowadays, it's like they hold a grudge, and you know what I'm saying, and they stick beside what they playing, and they add nothing else to their plan. And now that the stadium is the current stadium as it is now, it's the best, one of the best stadiums for MLB during this time period. Um, and it's pretty much an example of what MLB is trying to do now. So, but I do see a lot of different amenities in this park. When I was there, I seen this. People don't. I seen this park in person, y'all. So it is kind of iffy, but it's like they had some amenities. Okay, because when I saw this park, I thought I was going through a Tanger outlet at first. You know what I'm saying? Because of the concourse, but it's really a ballpark. So, but yeah, I'm gonna let the video play out for this ballpark. I would give this ballpark a 84% B, just because it was before its time and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 84% B.
Well, the field is sunken into the ground quite deep, so the exterior is one of the least imposing you'll see. But then again, there are some giant tigers outside.
See, when I say like I thought I was going to a Tanger outlet and stuff, I really meant that, y'all. Like this part right here,
Imposing you'll see. But then again, there are some
like I thought I was going to a Tanger outlet. When I saw that Ferris wheel like that and stuff, like I legit thought I was going to a Tanger outlet. And when he finna show y'all these
giant tigers outside that
like
can roar.
These tigers right here, you know what I'm saying? And you know that's pretty much like the department store, the fan shop and stuff, or the entrance. Like I thought I legit was going to a Tanger outlet.
And their eyes can light up.
But I was pretty much like a young kid at the time, so.
Actually, no, that's just the ones on the inside. But these ones have recently taken up karate. It's jiu-jitsu. Oh, jiu-jitsu, sorry. So they more than make up for the less imposing.
And see, like this is what MLB is really trying to do. They is really trying to limitize the high seating, and this is perfect. This is really perfect. But still, you get an overall 85% B and stuff because you did it before your time. Well, you pretty much preview of what MLB should do, but you still got a good grade. You know what I'm saying? I feel like your club scene should have a little bit more outer seating, but you did a real good job with this ballpark, and I do appreciate y'all, Detroit, for doing this. And I'm not just saying that. I do appreciate Detroit for doing this.
Exterior. Since Chase Field converted to synthetic turf, this is the only keyhole path remaining in Major League Baseball. It's just a strip of dirt, I know, but it was quite common back in the day. And I'm glad there's at least one example left. Well, there are plenty of minor league ballparks that still have it, but this is the last in the big leagues. Coors Field, Colorado Rockies.
Now, Coors Field, Colorado Rockies. Now, I don't like the Rockies, but I respect them. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. This was the first stadium they had to do renovations on to take away the high seats. And I'm going to show you where they did it at. And in the video, I'm going to show you where he did it at instead where they did it at as well. But I'm going to talk about it, why they doing this, why MLB is taking away these high death-defying seats, because it is time. Like, baseball don't need a lot of seats and stuff. It do need a nice stadium. It do need 3-decker seating floors, but it don't need like high-rise death-defying seats. NFL, on the other hand, they don't need it either, but they do need some seats and stuff. But we're gonna talk about NFL when it's when it's football time, but this is baseball time. So, but we're gonna show you where they did the renovation at.
Would you be surprised to hear that this is the largest ballpark you'll see in this video?
And technically, it is, because the reason why he said that, I'm gonna tell you why. Because of the sea level. Because of the sea level. Learn your history.
Not the capacity, but it features the largest field in Major League Baseball. This is to compensate for the dry and thin air that you get in the mile-high city, which offers less.
Now, before I get to it, you see this right here? You see how they took away all them high seats? This is what they doing it to them. This is right here is what they doing to it. They turn it into bars and lounges for the fans. You know what I'm saying? This is what they need to be doing for all these high-rise seats. Make it to a concourse and stuff. Or just cut them off, make it to a concourse. Keep the little seats, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see how he did this right here? Keep the little seats and stuff, but take away these all these top seats, because you're not going to fill them in. You're not going to fill them in and stuff. So,
in Major League Baseball. This is to compensate for the dry and thin air that you get in the mile-high city, which offers less resistance to the ball.
You see how they did it? You see people sitting, standing, having a good time? That's what they doing. So that's what MLB is really doing, y'all. And pretty much it's pretty much they're gonna do it to pretty much every stadium in the MLB. I'm just waiting to see what they're gonna do with Busch Stadium, because Busch Stadium is perfect, but they're gonna try something. But this is what they're doing to all the MLB stadiums. You know what I'm saying, with the high rise seats and stuff. But yeah, as you can look right here, they is actually taking these high rise seats, these death-defying seats and stuff, and putting in social spaces. And I likes that.
All whilst in flight, and as Einstein taught us, mass equals acceleration times gravity and such. The feather will fall at the same speed. Oh, and speaking of the mile-high city, the field is actually just below a mile high.
Yeah.
It's not until the 20th row of seats that you get a mile above sea level.
See, a mile above sea level. So,
as indicated by the change in seat color for that row. And if you're sitting a little higher up on the right, you're treated with a stunning panoramic Rocky Mountain view. Ooh, more trees. Except these ones are almost a mile high. Take that, California redwoods. Think you're so tall? Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles Dodgers.
now the Dodger Stadium. This stadium is actually built into the rock, you know what I'm saying, in LA. It's the only stadium that's in Major League Baseball professional that's built into the rock. Like, when I mean built into the rock, I mean like they broke some boulders, you know what I'm saying, and built the stadium within the rock, you know what I'm saying. So pretty much like you walking in the top level, you walking in, you at the top level, but your seat is on the at home plate. So you got to go downstairs like you going on like you Batman or something, or Bruce Wayne. Like, you got to go downstairs to get to your seat and stuff. But you park on the top level. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you look here, this is the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? So you walking up here and you already at the top level and stuff. But you got to go down here and stuff. You see what I'm talking about? Okay, now. So this ballpark, Dodger Stadium, I will give this ballpark a 85% B for nostalgia. overall. Also, I'm gonna give it an A for creativity because, like I say, it's built in the rock. You know what I'm saying? It was built in 1962, so that was creativity back then. So I'm gonna give that creativity for that, and pretty much like they walk around concourse. You know what I'm saying? It's low too. And, they can still go down the escalators to the concourse. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing. But yeah, they did their thing with this ballpark. I'm still giving it an 85% B. You know what I'm saying? Just in case.
When the Brooklyn Dodgers moved from the aforementioned Ebbets Field, they
And yes, y'all, Brooklyn Dodgers. Brooklyn Dodgers, the team that Jackie Robinson played for, is also known as the Los Angeles Dodgers. So learn your history.
decided it was easier to build a new stadium in a giant ravine on the other side of the country than to find a suitable site in New York. A good decision, there are certainly less rain delays here. The field being so far below street level on this side.
You see what I'm talking about? Like, this is all parking lot. So you walk in and you're already on the top level. You're already at the high rise seats and stuff, the Delta 5 seats. But if your seat is at home place, so guess what you got to do? You got to go down the elevator all the way down, like you Batman or Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like you Batman. I say Superman. Like you Batman and Robin and stuff, just to get to your seat. And it's neat. But in my opinion, I think the LA Dodgers deserve a new stadium. Hopefully they get one. Um, yeah, hopefully they get one pretty soon. And you know what I'm saying? And pretty much take away from the high rise seats. Cause like I say, the stadium is pretty old, but they still rocking with it. And I ain't mad at them for that. So yeah.
Means there really isn't much of an exterior to speak of. When this was built in the early 60s, it was getting into the era where multi-purpose stadiums were taking hold. But thankfully there was no need for a new football venue in the city, so it was built as a baseball-specific venue. And unlike Angel Stadium, remained that way throughout its history. It's actually the biggest baseball-specific stadium in the world, but it's technically not the biggest MLB stadium. I'll get to that later. Don't be fooled by the fact that the field faces away from the city. That doesn't mean it lacks a spectacular backdrop. Quite the contrary. There is some very Californian looking nature beyond the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
Any redwoods? No. Fenway Park, Boston Red Sox.
Fenway Park, built in 1912 in Boston, Massachusetts. This ballpark right here is, I believe, it's the oldest ballpark in the Major League Baseball. I think it is, yeah. This ballpark still got poles, like visible poles, to hold up the double decker and the triple decker. Now, what I mean by that, if you got a seat behind the pole, I'm gonna just be real with you. You might as well just go ahead and give your ticket up because that seat right there ain't no good seat. So I mean that's how bad, you know what I'm saying? That's how old the stadium is. If you got a seat behind the pole, your seat don't matter to nobody. So them seats like really cheap. I mean like cheap as like, oh man, I got a ticket for $5. Oh, for real? What game? At Fenway Park. Oh, Fenway Park. How much your ticket is? $5. So if you're in Boston and you ask somebody you going to the Boston Red Sox game and 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 you tell them how much you pay for your ticket, those people that's from Boston that goes to Fenway to watch the Red Sox, I'm gonna let you know right now. If you tell them that your ticket was $5, they automatically know that you got a bad seat because you behind the pole. So, and I'm gonna show you where these poles at. It's pretty much one right here, 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 one right here. It's in there, y'all. So, but like I say, it's nostalgia. This stadium gets an A for nostalgia. Ain't no change to it. You know what I'm saying? I think they did play football here and stuff at Fenway. Um, but this stadium is nostalgia. It's the stadium gets 100% A for nostalgia overall. But they like I say, built in 1912. I wasn't even existed at 1912. Hell, my grandfather wasn't even born in 1912 and stuff. So like pretty much like this ballpark, you know what I'm saying, is for the history books, test of time. Will Boston Red Sox get a new stadium? We may never know. We may never know. But this is the oldest ballpark in the MLB as of this moment.
It's the oldest major league venue. In fact, an easy way to grasp its age is that it opened less than a week after the block your ears if you haven't seen the movie yet. Just 5 days after the Titanic sunk.
What did I just tell y'all?
In the movie, of course. It didn't actually happen for real, it was just a conspiracy to sell more iceberg repellent. But anyway, it's old.
This is what I mean. It got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are the pole seats. So if you got a seat between these poles or behind the pole, I'm sorry, big fella. I am sorry, big fella. You might as well say, hey, I don't want your ticket. Shoot.
I usually like to point out what is unique or unusual about a stadium. Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, but not with Fenway. There's no other stadium like it. Firstly, the dimensions, the outfield seating, the Green Monster, which is the biggest outfield wall in the big leagues, the combination of modern luxuries and antiquated design elements. It's like stepping back in time without the fear of polio.
True.
One downside for the locals is that due to room constraints, it has been unable to expand to be big enough to meet the demand.
Like people actually sitting behind the pole, y'all. That's how bad, you know what I'm saying? That's how old this stadium is. But that's how bad those tickets are and stuff. Like people do not want to sit behind the pole.
And so that disparity leads to the most expensive non-premium tickets in baseball. Still worth it though. It's like a museum and ballpark in one.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much every stadium seems to have some sort of museum nowadays, but you know what I mean. Globe Life Field, Texas Rangers.
Okay. Texas Rangers. Globe Life Field. I seen this stadium. I've been to this stadium. I seen what it's like. And the crazy thing about it, I don't get why the Texas Rangers built this stadium across the street from their old stadium. And their old stadium was okay and stuff. I know they wanted a roof because of the weather in Texas, but they pretty much like it didn't really make no sense. But shout out to Texas Rangers for winning the World Series. Um, I think for 2023. Shout out to them for that. And they won it in this stadium. So hey, you made people say hats off to you. So but this field is a nice field. There's no creativity to it, but it is a nice field, and I do like this stadium a lot. It just that it could have had some creativity to it and stuff, but they tried their best with it. But Texas Rangers, I'm gonna give this stadium grade overall a 92 because it's brand new. But this stadium had a lot of creativity to it, then I would give it 100% A. But there's no creativity for it, so I'm gonna just give it a 92.
From the oldest ballpark to the newest, Globe Life Field replaced the undesirable due to lack of roof and Texas Sun hot Globe Life.
See, this is what the old stadium was, and it's still there to this day. You know what I'm saying? They use it for some other sports now. That's why it's looked like it's being converted. But this was the old stadium. So, like I say, what to expect?
Life Park, now called something else. It's located right nearby, as is
Like when I drove this way, it was like right next by. So it was like they using the same parking lot. So it threw me off a little bit, but I understand what's going on. And it's right by those cowgirls, but I can understand what's going on with the Rangers. I do.
AT&T Stadium, making this small patch of land in Arlington the most fertile stadium growing area in the world. The roof of the new venue, which is the biggest of its kind, does come in handy, but it's the aesthetics that let it down a little bit. It does look like it belongs on a farm from the future. I like to call it the world's first $1 billion barn.
And see, this stadium is not that bad. It's just that there's no creativity for it.
But the interior is one of my favorites. As is becoming a bit of a trend, there are so many tiers of seating, 7 in some areas. I'm sure it costs more to build, but it really does allow for few, if not no, bad seats in the house. Even the top row has a good view.
No bad seats in this house. And that's good.
I particularly like this section. It's almost like a modern take on the balconies at their old ballpark. One slightly unsettling upgrade from their old stadium is that they had to make the seats wider.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a good thing, but for the wrong reasons, I guess. Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati Reds.
Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. This ballpark, I'm gonna give it a 87. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 87. I do like the little boat area for the concourse. You know what I'm saying? I do like that. People don't know that the Reds means red stockings. So you had red socks and then you had red stockings. So Cincinnati Reds is not, a racially thing. People thought it was, but it's not. But it actually tells you right here, Cincinnati Red Stockings. So and this team was made, I think back in the day. So it was known as Red Stockings. So you had red socks and you had red stockings. So it'll be real with y'all. So in order to get all that mixed up and stuff, Cincinnati changed their name to say, instead of saying Red Stockings, they abbreviate their name and just say Cincinnati Reds. So that's a history lesson for y'all for this team and also for this ballpark. But I do like the boat area. It's nice. Their stadium, it's generic a little bit, but it's kind of like, yeah, I know they're going to take away this top layers of seats pretty soon. I think they're going to keep this one, though, but I know they're going to, I don't know. I think they're going to take, I think they're going to take the third level away and stuff and keep these little seats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're going to take away the third level and just going to make it a walk around area around the stadium. But yeah, overall grade, I'm going to give this stadium a 87.
The Reds aren't being especially patriotic with that name. They just accepted a large sum of money from an insurance company to have the stadium named after them. But then again, ain't that what America's all about? Oh, and these things as well. Wait, forget about the pickup truck. Is that a real riverboat right there? No, that's just a riverboat deck, which includes a covered bar and dining area for all your eating and drinking needs. Wait, are they real smokestacks? No, they're just fake ones that can pour out artificial smoke to create an atmospheric spectator experience. These river-themed features are, of course, due to the ballpark's location right by this long, windy lake thing, which can be viewed when sitting higher up in the stands. Contrary to all the features on the inside, the exterior is a little bare bones compared to most, but it's still alright. Guaranteed rate field, Chicago White Sox.
Now, Chicago, Illinois, guaranteed rate field. I believe this is on the west side of Chicago. This ballpark is an okay ballpark. People don't like it a lot because I don't know why. People say it's too generic. It's okay to me. People don't know, man. If you got the beautiful ballpark like this, man, cherish it, man. I don't know why people don't like it, but I can understand. You know, it's not. It ain't. It don't give you that the excitement. You know what I'm saying? It's going to because it's too generic. It looked generic as from the original one. But I would say this. They do want a replacement for the stadium. I can understand, but it's still a nice stadium. And I would keep this stadium, to be honest with you, because of the rules now in the MLB and what they want, the amenities now. If I was them, I would try to cut some seats out and stuff, make it better. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I would give this stadium a 90% A overall. You know what I'm saying? But I know they want to replace the stadium a lot. So shout out to West Side Chicago, the White Sox and stuff. So it is what it is.
There's no questioning whether that's the sponsor's name. People give it a lot of hate for that name, but there are certainly worse names out there, like Kenneth. But don't get me started on the team name. If you're going to name yourself specifically after the color of a particular garment, at least be true to your word.
And yeah, so what he means, so they are called White Sox, but they're wearing black socks. And yeah, it's crazy.
The Red Sox wear red socks and the Reds wear red after all. Kinda. Some designs are ahead of their time. This one was probably a little bit behind the times. It looks like a bit of a combination of Angel Stadium and Kauffman Stadium, which were built in the 60s and 70s respectively. Another downside is that rather than a downtown view or a mountain view, it's a view of the hood, if I can say that. This is the south side of Chicago.
Excuse me, y'all. My bad. South side Chicago. I said west side Chicago, but south side Chicago. My respect, you know what I'm saying? And my respect go out to all the people in Chicago and stuff. But yeah, I mean south side Chicago. But power to y'all. But this stadium, I can understand what y'all going through.
Perhaps that's why they sort of blocked it off a little bit. I will say though that I do appreciate a homage to the past, and the facade is basically a modern take on Comiskey Park. Their iconic
See, that's the original stadium, Comiskey Park.
former home. Just with a bit of a tan. Kauffman Stadium.
Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. This stadium does need a rehaul. Pretty much, they need to go ahead and redo this whole stadium, please. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, look at this. Look at these seats. Needs to be demolished. I'm gonna be real with you. It needs to be demolished. And they won the World Series probably around not too long ago, but they should have got a new stadium at this time. And I know MLB is going to approve them to build a new stadium because this is terrible. This is right here is terrible. Like, I'd be scared if I had to sit up here. You know what I'm saying? I will be scared if I had to sit up here at a Kansas City game. Now, let me be real with you. I'll be okay if I sit right here. You know what I'm saying? Or sit down low. But I'll be scared if I had to sit up here. Now, as a Kansas City fan, I would never go to a Kansas City game because of the stadium. And I'm sorry. I would never go to a Kansas City game because of the stadium. But to be honest with you, I'm gonna go ahead and give this grade for the stadium. I do like the scoreboard. You know what I'm saying? I do like that. You know what I'm saying? That gives them an A for effort. And I know they got the waterfall with the scoreboard. That gives them an A. But overall, the stadium gets at least a C because the stadium needs to be redone ASAP. Especially it's an outdoor stadium as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it the stadium a 78 because you know what I'm saying, I'm trying my best, you know what I'm saying, not to get a stadium an F. But if I didn't like baseball or if I didn't like Kansas City, this stadium will get an F regardless. But I do like Kansas City, but they do need a real bad touch up on this stadium, or they need to get a whole new stadium because this is not good no more. This is old. This is what make Fenway look bad. You know what I'm saying? And Fenway's old, but Fenway's built right. This is not built right. So we need to fix that.
Kansas City Royals. Just like its football counterpart right next door, Kauffman Stadium is nearly 50 years old, but it's a design that has pretty much stood the test of time. It might not be the most aesthetically pleasing, particularly the exposed concrete exterior, which was very common back in the day, but renovations over the years have added some nice modern touches, and overall I think it looks rather nice. I like how the top tier of seating comes to a point, matching Arrowhead Stadium. Actually, back in the day they had matching seats as well. The video board here is huge. For a while it was the king of all video boards, the biggest in baseball. But as you'll see later on, it has been bested. It kept the crown because you know how much that would cost to move to Cleveland? Oh, spoiler alert. It has a seemingly serene backdrop, but there's
See what I'm saying? They did won the World Series. And see, I do like the waterfall. I do like the walk around concourse in this area. So I will sit at the game. If I had to go to a Kansas City game, I'll be sitting in this area. But I do not like those high rise seats. I do not. They need to fix that.
actually a major highway right there.
And I'm gonna tell you what, them high rise seats make this ballpark look like a low A tier or high A tier, but pretty much a low A tier.
Lone Depot Park, or Lone Depot Park in American, Miami Marlins.
Okay, Lone Depot Park, Miami Marlins. This stadium is nice. They messed it up twice. They did mess it up twice. Pretty much, you see this right here. This was actually inside the stadium. This artifact right here was actually inside the stadium and used for home runs purposes. But they took it out. Don't know why. They also messed up. They used to have a fish tank in there. You know what I'm saying? Behind the batter's eye or the behind home plate. They had a fish tank. And I remember one time the a pitcher had threw a pitch and went past the catcher, and the ball had hit the fish tank. and it actually put a hole in it and stuff. And guess what? So they had to take out the fish tank because there was actually fishes in the fish tank. So it was a lot going on with this stadium. Um, but overall grade for this stadium, I'm gonna still give it a an 85% B and stuff because of the modern take of it. But this stadium been through a lot. Miami, I don't know. We trying to get Tampa a new stadium fast, but you know what I'm saying? I believe this stadium should have belonged to Tampa. Um, but it is what it is.
This is one of the more distinctive designs in baseball. Instead of the tried and true retro classic or retro modern that were the go-to options when this was built, the Marlins went for a more futuristic take, which resembles an arena more so than a ballpark, particularly the exterior. The Jetsons-esque design certainly isn't for everyone, but I applaud them for daring to be different. And I'm not sure a retro stadium would suit Miami anyway. I mean, how many bricks do you see here? An Art Deco design maybe? Red brick? I don't know. Anyway, I didn't actually need to show you stock footage because you get...
See, the stadium is actually nice. But see how that artifact that was outside was in here? You see that? That's how it actually was. And this was the fish tank I was telling you about right here. This was actually the fish tank. And it's crazy how this don't look like this no more.
Get a great view of Miami's skyline from the seats due to these sliding windows. I love that asymmetrical scoreboard, but one thing I wasn't a fan of initially was the shade of green that they painted the outfield walls in. A bit garish, but thankfully they changed that. Another thing they changed was the natural grass, which was recently replaced with synthetic turf. I guess year on year the synthetic turf is getting better and the cost savings become more attractive. Minute Maid Park, Houston Astros.
Shout out to Houston, Texas. Shout out to H-Town, Humble, Texas, all them. Third Ward, you know what I'm saying, Galveston. Anybody I'm missing out, but shout out to the Houston area. This stadium right here, Minute Maid Park, I do like this stadium a lot. It's my best. This right here is the best indoor stadium I have been to. And I would say this stadium right here has a choo-choo train. You know what I'm saying? So if you hit a home run, the train will come out. So then that's neat. They did a lot of renovation to this stadium, but it's still a nice stadium, to be honest with you. They do a lot. They did a real good job with this stadium, and overall grade, I would give this stadium a 92% A. Just because.
It was the first MLB stadium to open in the 21st century, and as you can see, they still hadn't quite perfected the retractable roof aesthetic design yet. But it's a little bit more interesting than Chase Field, from the aerial view at least. The best part about this stadium is probably the fact that it was built on the site of the former Union Station, and they
You see what I'm saying?
incorporated some of the building into its design. Okay, that doesn't look all that special, but due to this history, the Astros wanted to keep going with the locomotive theme by adding a train within the stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, sat atop this old-fashioned stone viaduct-looking thing is a full-size model train. I hope it's not powered by coal because in lieu of trash cans, smoke signals might be an option. Behind the train is the world's largest sliding glass door, which slides along with the roof, so the stadium really opens up. There are a ton of gimmicks here. It's pretty far from a purist ideal.
Now, one thing I could tell y'all, now if you do got high-rise seats in the indoor stadium, that's fine. But I know they're trying to do something to them. So be prepared for it.
Ballpark, but it's fun. You gotta give it that. Nationals Park, Washington Nationals. I'd imagine
Washington Nationals Park. I'm gonna be real. There's only way I can be real. I'm surprised this park got a 3D image, because usually anything at Washington D.C. is not 3D image. You know what I'm saying? Safety purposes. But this park is a nice park. I'll give it a 91% A and stuff. But take it or leave it. It is a nice park. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Washington Nationals.
Nationals Park, Washington Nationals. I'd imagine that at least a few dozen tourists over the years have wound up here when they meant to visit a national park. But who needs Yosemite when you have these drab facades made from steel and glass? Wait, Yosemite? They must have really gone off course. Anyway, calling it drab was perhaps a bit harsh, but just comparing it to some of the others we've seen so far, it kinda is. The interior is a lot better in my view. Speaking of views, Washington's skyline is not the most grandiose, but features some of the world's most famous buildings. Look, there's the US Department of Transportation building. One day I'll see it in person. As a bit of a nod to the ballpark's proximity to the US Navy yards, they've included a foghorn which sounds off after every Nationals home run. A surface-to-air missile was deemed over the top. Bit of a shame. Also, I could be seeing things, but this section here reminds me of an aircraft carrier. In a way. Sort of. No? Not seeing it? Alright, let's move on.
The idea of having one stream of income just didn't sit.
Oakland Coliseum, Oakland Athletic.
Oakland Coliseum. This stadium is no longer in use no more, because the Oakland Athletics have now moved to Las Vegas now. I mean, it was the last team to go from this stadium. They lost the Raiders and stuff. Then they lost, the Golden State Warriors, which is the arena next to the stadium, to San Francisco. And now they lost to Oakland Athletics, and Oakland Athletics is moving to Las Vegas, where the Raiders at right now. So, to be honest with y'all, I mean, stuff happens, but I can feel the Oakland Athletics. It was time to go, because this is the last cookie cutter stadium that was ever made, because it was between football and baseball. But the way this field was shaped for, it was time for them to go. I mean, when they played at this stadium, they really wasn't getting not a lot of fans to come and watch the game, so they had to cover some seats up. So this is pretty much the reason why, like, they had to cut some seats off in pretty much in every stadium, especially high-rise seats, because of the situation they got going on. So overall grade for this stadium is old. I'm gonna give it an F, because I know they're gonna get a new stadium pretty soon. So, and I can't wait to react to that. So yeah, this Oakland Coliseum gets an F.
It's a stadium with a prestigious name that it doesn't live up to. Actually, you know what? Perhaps Coliseum is the perfect name for it. Just like the one in Rome, it's crumbling, it lacks any shaded seating, and it has a sewage system that predates toilet paper. Hence the large amount of foul.
See, this is what I mean. Like, they trying to cut all these high-rise seats out and stuff, because there's no use to them no more.
Territory. Okay, we've got all the negatives out of the way. Let's talk about the positives. Field. Field is good. Nice grass. Oh, and it actually has a few hundred more seats than Dodger Stadium, but thousands are topped off. Which leads me into my least favorite feature, one of the most frustrating design elements of any stadium. And that is Mount Davis, an extension that was added for the Raiders, and now sits there with a tarp on it serving no other purpose than blocking what was a decent panoramic view, and rubbing salt into the wounds of the downtrodden people of Oakland. Okay, I don't want to sound like they've just been through a war, but the Warriors go to San Francisco, and the Raiders leave to another state altogether.
Yep.
That's a tough pill to swallow. Hopefully the A's can stay and build themselves a new home.
Well, they didn't.
I mentioned San Francisco. Here's an interesting little tidbit. If you were standing up top on a clear day, you can actually see Oracle Park, home of the San Francisco Giants.
Now, Oracle Park is a nice stadium. I do not like how they didn't really finish it. I can understand why, because of the water right here. But it's still a nice stadium. They did their best, what they could. They do got a nice walk around concourse and some statues right here. I do like that. Oracle Park is really a good stadium for the San Francisco Giants. They did their thing. People don't know that this water is a marina right here and stuff. So people, when you hit a home run over this way, the people that got boats and stuff, they gonna try to catch it. So this park overall grade, I'll give this park a 94% overall. Take it or leave it, but it's still a nice ballpark.
Ignore the fact that I used the Oakland Coliseum's non-commercial name just so it would be right behind Oracle Park in the alphabet. In order to do this smooth transition, ignore that. I want to keep it smooth and now I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh yes, they're the only two stadiums in Major League Baseball that can see each other, so to speak. But when you're sitting high up in the stands of Oracle Park, I doubt you'll even care that you can see another stadium. This is one of the few examples where a lack of available room actually enhanced the sports venue. With the right field wall being just 45 feet or so from the ocean, it leaves most spectators with a stunning view across the bay.
And I like how they try to put seats in there too as well.
If you're worried about the balls floating out into the ocean and causing global warming or something, then don't. There are usually fans waiting in kayaks for a splash hit.
Yep, see what I'm saying?
But not only that, there are actually dogs that swim out to collect the balls. Who knew you could train a dog to fetch? A lot of ballparks have big Coca-Cola signage, but the Giants have a huge bottle. Quite fitting, I guess. Oriole Park at Camden Yards, Baltimore.
Now, Camden Yards, Oriole Park. Now, this ballpark is beautiful. It's built like Oracle Park, but it's still beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much their facade is all beautiful. I would give this ballpark still a 94. I'm going to give this ballpark a 94% overall grade. Take it or leave it. That's my take on it.
Orioles. This place is held in very high regard, and there are few stadiums in the world that can claim to be more influential. You might even say it was the world's first influencer, if it wasn't for the fact that it commanded respect. Anyway, what I'm referring to is the fact that it was the first of the retro classic ballparks, at least in the majors. The red brick, the steel, the green roof, the green seats mimic the design of a bygone era, whilst adding some modern touches here and there. It's just such a clean, simple and elegant design. It's kind of similar to Oracle Park, in particular the way that it looks like it's being cut off, except this time it's not by water, but by a warehouse, which has actually been incorporated into the stadium itself, just like the train station at Minute Maid Park. Within it are stadium-related offices, as well as a restaurant or two, team store, etc. But its main purpose is to shut up and look pretty. It's the icing on the cake of what is a fantastic venue. Actually, you know what? Scrap that. It's cheesecake. It doesn't need icing. Petco Park, San Diego Padres.
Now, San Diego Padres, San Diego, California, Petco Park. We had a client at my job who was a big Padres fan. He said there's a bet. they got the best seats in the house, and I believe him when he said that because the way the stadium is built, you do got a best seat in the house, um, pretty much. But I know they're gonna cut some of these high seats off. But this stadium is a nice stadium. I would give this stadium a overall 95, 96% A, just because. But Petco Park is really a nice park.
This one features facades made from Indian sandstone that were built in a bit of a Spanish style. Two countries that don't typically have much to do with each other. But man, if Spain colonized India, the food would be incredible. I can only assume some sort of curry burrito would naturally arise. Anyway, the exterior was actually inspired by the cliffs in the area. Yet again, they've incorporated an old building into the design of the stadium. This one's a lot closer to the field. It pretty much forms the boundary. The building had been declared a historical landmark, so I guess they had no choice, but who knows? Maybe they would have kept it anyway. Probably not. Unlike the warehouse, of course, this has been hit on multiple occasions, even up onto the roof. Interestingly, just outside the park is a park, known as the Park at the Park, where fans can actually watch the game from. It's open to the public for use as a regular park when there's no game on.
And see, I did not know that.
PNC Park, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Now, you got PNC Park, you know what I'm saying, at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, there's another stadium close to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's built better than this park, but I can understand why Pittsburgh Pirates is in the MLB because it's been in MLB ever since, you know, back in the day. So I understand that, but this ballpark is generic, you know what I'm saying? I had to give this ballpark at least a 85% B because I do like the walk around concourse that they got. They trying their best, you know what I'm saying? I know they got the memo where cut out the high rise seats, so they trying their best and stuff. But yeah, Petco Park is a really nice park. I'll give it an overall 85% B.
We've got a limestone facade this time. It looks kind of similar to the sandstone we saw earlier.
Don't break a chair, Ray. Don't break a chair. Don't break a chair. And I do like the facade as well.
But it tastes considerably better texture as well. That is just a personal preference. Anyway, this ballpark is often touted as being the best in the world, and that's not because of the exterior. It's largely because of its location, which provides one of the best backdrops in sport.
Yes.
Yes, you've got the Pittsburgh skyline and the Allegheny River, but it's those iconic yellow bridges that make all the difference. The Roberto Clemente Bridge, named for the Pirates legend, the Andy Warhol Bridge, famous artist, and the Rachel Carson Bridge. Just stunning. I never thought I would talk so much about bridges in a video about stadiums. But then again, I was just talking about tasting limestone. Other than that though, the stadium's design goes for function over form. It's an understated design with just 2 tiers of seating. There's not much in the way of gimmicks or sideshows, and there doesn't need to be. It's a fantastic venue.
What if I told you that instead of setting up a green screen, you can just click a button into script and get
Progressive field for a progressive team now known as the Cleveland Guardians.
Okay, so people don't know why they call themselves the Cleveland Guardians. I'm going to give you some brief history, okay? Back then, Cleveland had a baseball team called the Cleveland Indians, okay? Now, what happened was the Native American Society, you know, got on Cleveland baseball team. Oh, y'all, my eyes are tired, y'all. Hold on. But so they got into it with the whole thing about, you know, the racial situation, and they need to change their name. So they did. They changed their name, and they came up with the Guardians. So instead of being Cleveland Indians, they had to become the Guardians. They had to even take the Indian logo off of the name and stuff, and just put a C and stuff. Like they brand for Cleveland for baseball was tarnished because of the situation. So now they are known as the Cleveland Guardians, and it's working out pretty fine.
Progressive feel for a progressive team now known as the Cleveland Guardians. It was the right move to drop the Indians nickname in my opinion. Kinda racist. Now hopefully the Cleveland Browns will follow suit. The exterior is actually quite similar to Petco Park, just a little more stripped down with less stone and more exposed concrete. But the steel is painted white as well, including the light towers, which are a well-known feature here. There are just so many of them, 19 in fact. Usually there's like 6, 8 maybe? Come to think of it, Cincinnati had pretty much the same toothbrush design. But it does have some other distinct features like the little green monster. I guess they could have called it the green gremlin, but then again it's not that ugly. The venue also features a surprising amount of luxurious amenities. My favorite being the Terrace Club restaurant. I don't know what the food is like, but it just looks cool. They've also got the biggest video board in baseball. It's basically the opposite of the one in Kansas City.
Yep.
Very widescreen. Rogers Center, Toronto Blue Jays.
Now, Rogers Center was in the realm of basketball and Major League Baseball using the same arena, but all that's changed now. So everything is separated. So now Rogers Center is none but baseball, and yes, they do have a hotel in this center as well. You can watch the game from the hotel. So, I'll give this ballpark a 90% A. We're doing renovations to make the ballpark look better than what it is today. So, so pretty much Toronto, Ontario, Canada, y'all did y'all thing with this, okay? Take it or leave it.
Okay, so as far as facades go, this is the most boring one you'll see in this video. But the stadium distinguishes itself not only by the fact that it's the only Canadian MLB stadium, but it was also the first with a fully retractable roof, a style of roof that has still not been replicated by any other team. I would say it was a completely unique design, but actually this stadium in Japan has a very similar thing going on. It was built 4 years after Rogers Center, and well, the Canadians are too polite to say it, but they copied the design, didn't they? Or maybe not, who knows? This is just one of 2 football-baseball hybrid stadiums remaining in Major League Baseball, Oakland Coliseum being the other. It hosted the Toronto Argonauts until 2015, which is why it has a disproportionate amount of outfield seating. You can tell that this would have been an incredibly impressive venue back in the late 80s, and even though it's lacking in certain areas nowadays, it's still a pretty cool place. T-Mobile Park, or T-Mobile Park in American. I don't know why I keep doing that. Seattle Mariners.
So T-Mobile Park, I've seen this park before. Seattle Mariners. I do like this park. It's a nice ballpark. Seattle, y'all really did y'all thing with this ballpark. Overall grade, I'm gonna give y'all a 93. A 93% overall grade for this ballpark.
Venue is also known for its retractable roof. No, not simply the fact that it has one, but the fact that it sort of hovers above the stadium, rather than actually sealing it shut and turning it into an indoor venue. I don't mean that it actually hovers, of course it is on railing. Just want to make that clear. Which is good, I suppose, if you like an open air feel, but it does make it seem as though it was retrofitted to a pre-existing outdoor stadium, instead of both the stadium and the roof being designed as one, as they were. That's probably partially due to the fact that there is a separate canopy underneath the retractable roof. Anyway, it's not all about the roof. The interior features the second largest screen behind Cleveland, which is great for people that struggle to see at all. And if you're sitting on the right side of the field, you not only get a view of Seattle, but of another stadium.
Yep.
Target Field, Minnesota Twins.
Okay, Target Field, Minnesota Twins. This stadium deserves a 100% A. Take it or leave it. I'm not answering no more questions about it. I ain't saying nothing about it. It deserves a 100% A. It kept it up, and yeah. So Minneapolis, Twin City, y'all did y'all thing with this ballpark.
The Twin Cities have some fantastic stadiums, and this one's no exception. Twin Cities. That's why they're called the Twins. I love these facades made from different shades of tasty limestone, but most of all, I really love the lines on this stadium. Not the foul lines, they're pretty standard, but in the same way you would describe a sports car, the design has a certain flow to it. One strange but interesting feature is, see how there's a section of seats in the middle there that's a different color? Well, that's because they're actually wooden seats, the backs of them at least. This was purely an aesthetic choice, and it adds a little bit of an old-fashioned charm to an otherwise modern venue. It's a fantastic ballpark, but one downside is that it's the farthest north Major League Stadium that doesn't have a retractable roof, so it might get a little bit chilly from time to time, but no big deal. Tropicana Field, Tampa Bay Rays. The exterior is a little blancmange in the literal sense. See, it looks like one of these things. In fact, in 2016, it was voted as the ballpark most reminiscent of...
So Tampa Bay Rays, hopefully they get their new stadium built. Tropicana Field's all right. I just felt like they need to take away the roof. If they take away the roof, it'll be a nice ballpark. But other than that, they also need to take away some of the high seating too, as well. But other than that, it is a nice ballpark. They just need to fix the stadium completely.
Of an obscure dessert. Another poll that it ranks highly in is the worst Major League ballpark, although Oakland tends to take the title. In reality, it's...
See, this is the reason why I said they don't need a lot of seat like that. Like, take away most of all these seats and stuff, and then just work the line, okay? That's all they got to do.
not a terrible stadium, just by MLB standards, it's not great.
See, by MLB standards, it's not great. And I know, hopefully y'all can hear me, but I'm just gonna be. My body's tired, y'all. Hopefully this video is gonna end pretty soon. So I'm trying to stick it through. Trying to see it
It's
through.
the only remaining Major League venue with a fixed roof, but I suppose if it was going to be anywhere, it should be somewhere where the humidity is high and hurricanes are nigh. It's the smallest Major League stadium officially, however that is simply due to the large amount of seats that are being topped off. They're seats with an obstructed view due to these catwalks, but it's not as if they would have been filled very often anyway. Something I find odd is that when the Rays played their first season here, the stadium was already 8 years old. Truist Park, Atlanta Braves. This is the farthest ballpark from downtown.
Truist Park, I'm gonna be real. Atlanta Braves, I'm gonna be real. This ballpark deserves a 85% B. The reason I'm giving it 85% B is that they tried to replicate the old stadium the best way they can, and it worked. But it still looked generic. There's no theme to it and stuff. And the entrance is way off balance. Like you have to enter the stadium from this direction, and stuff. You can't enter it from that direction. So that threw me off a little bit. But it's a nice stadium. I would give it this overall 85% B.
Truist Park, Atlanta Braves. This is the farthest ballpark from downtown. The Braves made the move from very near the center of the city out to the suburbs, which is closer to the center of their fan base. Clearly, it was a prudent decision because they averaged the second highest attendance last season, and I can't think of any other reason that would be the case. They sort of brought the city with them though. Next door, they built this entertainment district called the Battery Atlanta. The ballpark itself features the largest canopy of any outdoor MLB stadium. Still small by European football standards, but its purpose is to shade rather than shelter from rain. It's a compact venue where all the spectators are quite close to the field, but I'm disappointed with one thing. The home of Coca-Cola doesn't have a giant Coca-Cola bottle, just a lousy sign. It does, however, according to a lot of people, have the best food of any ballpark, and I'll take that any day. Wrigley Field, Chicago Cubs.
Now, back in Chicago, we had Wrigley Field. Now, this stadium is old, 1914. That's a long time. This stadium is the second oldest ballpark in the MLB. They're trying to upgrade it so much and stuff. I'll give this stadium a 95 overall grade for nostalgia. But yeah, this stadium is nice. I do like it. But they still try to keep it upgraded a lot. And the Cubs, I don't know, but y'all doing y'all thing with this stadium. Keeping it up.
The name has a somewhat similar story as Busch Stadium. It's not named after Wrigley's, the gum manufacturer, but the man behind Wrigley's, coincidentally named Wrigley. It's a toss-up between here and Fenway Park as to which is baseball's most iconic venue. Obviously, age has to do with that. And given its age, there's no surprise that it does have some restricted views and is lacking when it comes to modern amenities.
Yes.
But much like Fenway Park, it makes up for.
Like I say, the stadium also has its poles still. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a stadium that got poles, be you know what I'm saying? Just be mindful.
That with some very interesting quirks. There's no green monster, but the outfield wall here is also unique. Instead of padding, it features the more elegant looking brick walls covered in ivy. It's not poison ivy either, so you can eat as much as you like. Other features that make Wrigley stand out are the hand-operated scoreboard, the famous marquee out front, and of course the rooftop seating on the adjacent buildings. Yankee Stadium, New York Yankees.
Now, this is the last stadium. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they're going to put this one on here. New York City, New York, the Bronx area, the New York Yankee Stadium or Yankee Stadium. This stadium is all right. It's too futuristic. To me, I'll give it a 80% B. It's too futuristic for me. I wish Yankee Stadium keep their old stadium, but keep it more nostalgia. They did try to keep it more nostalgia, keep that old school feel. The stadium is okay for me. I just, say I'm not a real big Yankees fan, but they did their thing with this ballpark. And yeah, so overall grade is a 95% A. But like I say, I can't really grade this ballpark. I know I'm tired. I'm giving this ballpark a B or A, but yeah, I think it deserves a 95% A. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. So yeah.
Being the most successful franchise in MLB history, they built the most expensive stadium in baseball history, at well over $2 billion. The Red Sox might have the most expensive standard seats, but the Yankees have the most expensive premium seats, some of which can go for up to $10,000 on the secondary market. And actually, a bit of a criticism of the stadium is that it seems to cater for the wealthy more than most. Though in many ways it's a flashy modern stadium, there are several nods to the old Yankee Stadium, such as the limestone facade,
Yep.
as well as this frieze that runs underneath the roof. And of course the dimensions are the exact same. And really overall it just looks very similar. The Yankees got off to a great start here by winning the World Series in their first season at the stadium, but they've yet to win one since. You do have to question whether it was worth nearly 3 times the cost of Citi Field, but I guess it probably does generate a lot more money. And those were the Major League Baseball.
All right. Well, that was the video. Shout out to Worldwide Stadiums for the video. Please go subscribe to them. But yeah, Major League Baseball stadiums. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of stadiums, you know. But hey, MLB is gonna have to have an expansion pretty soon. Now we got to do these post MLB stadiums, and then we'll be heading to the theme park realm. So if you like more of this content, please comment below, like and subscribe. And I'm out, y'all. So I'll catch y'all next time. Deuces. Bow to the people. You already know what it is. See ya.